Hello everyone, my name is Eang and I'm gonna be presenting about solving integrals using Microsoft Excel without add-ons. Table of contents. Today we will cover these 4 points such as the introduction, application of integrals, integrals in our daily life, and solving integrals in Microsoft Excel. Introduction. Integration is a way of adding slices to find the whole. Integration can be used to find areas, volumes, central points, and many useful things, but it is easiest to start with finding the area under a curve of a function like this. What is the area under the curve? Slices. So we can find the area under the curve by divided those curves into slices. We could calculate the function at a few points and add up slices of with delta x, but the answer won't be very accurate because you can see that there are still white parts that is not calculated yet. That's why the answer is not very accurate. But we can get a more accurate answer by making the slices smaller and add up many small slices, and there is less white parts, so answer is getting better. And finally, as the slices approach 0 in width, the answer approaches the true answer. We now write dx to mean that delta x slices are approaching 0 in width. There is no more gap, so this is the exact answer. But if we divide that into slices, there is a lot of adding up. Applications of integral. We can compute all of this by using an integral, so we can solve the average value of a function, area between curves, work, kinetic energy in proper integrals, center of mass, volume, probability, arc length, distance, velocity, acceleration, surface area by using an integral. Where is integral used in real life? In our actual world, we use integral in so many different fields, such as application in engineering. An architecture engineer uses integration in determining the amount of the necessary materials to construct curve-shaped constructions and also to measure the weight of that structure. Calculus is used to improve the architecture not only of buildings but also of important infrastructures such as bridges. In electrical engineering, integration is used to determine the exact length of power cable needed to connect two substations which are miles away from each other. Spaceflight engineers also use calculus when planning for long missions. Application in medical science. Biologists use different integration to determine the exact rate of growth in a bacterial culture. Application in physics. In physics, integration is very much needed. For example, to calculate the center of mass, the center of gravity, and the mass moment of inertia of a sports utility vehicle. Application in statistics. Statisticians use calculus to evaluate survey data to help develop business plans for different companies. Application in research analysis. An operations research analyst will use calculus when observing different processes at a manufacturing corporation. Application in graphics. A graphics artist uses integration to determine how different three-dimensional models will behave when subjected to rapidly changing conditions. It can create a realistic environment for video games or movies. And finally, application in chemistry. It is used to determine the rate of a chemical reaction and to determine some necessary information of radioactive decay reaction. So now moving on to solving integrals using Microsoft Excel. It is simple and easy, and it does not require any formula to solve the integrals. But firstly, we have to know the 4 main important columns, which include the x-range, dx function, and area. The x-range is the point on the x-axis, the dx is the gap between the x-range, the function is the equation that is given or the integral that they let us solve, and the area is the multiplication of the dx, the number in the dx, and the function. So let's do some examples now. Don't need any formula, just use Microsoft Excel. First, solve the integral of x plus 1 over x squared plus 2x between 0.05 and 5. So by using Microsoft Excel, the answer that I find is 3.21, and by using a calculator, the answer is 2.91. So the difference between the two methods is 0. Still doesn't get it right. Okay, so let's get into practice. Solve the integral of x sin x between 1 and 5. By using Microsoft Excel, the answer is minus 2.87, and by using a calculator, the answer is minus 2.67, and the difference is only 0.2. Okay, let's see how I do it in Microsoft Excel. I'm doing it here so that you guys can have a better understanding of what I am doing. So first, there should be only 4 main columns. These 4 main columns. Then now we start putting the numbers in. So range from 1 till 5. So start from 1. And then I want my dx to be 0.1. You can put any number here, but the less the better. The more accurate your answer is. And the function is the equation or the problem you have to solve, which is x times sin x. Then substitute x by this one, c6 times sin c6. Enter. Microsoft Excel will calculate this by itself. So this one, since our gap is 0.1, so this one should be 1.01. So these two plus together in order to find this. So plus C6 and D6. This one remains the same. Drag this down. The formula is the same, so drag this down too. The area is the multiplication of these two cells, so equals to D5 D6 times E6. Drag it down till here. Then the final answer is the sum of all the areas, so equals to sum starting from F6 till F46. The answer is minus 2.87. Minus 2.87, and the actual answer is minus 2.67, so 0.2 difference. Let's move to the next example. Solve the integral of 1 divided by x to the power of 6 plus 1 between 0 and 1. So even though we use a calculator, the solutions contains many steps, and it is very long and advanced. And if you don't remember the formula, this one is a very hard integral problem. But if you use Microsoft Excel, it is this simple. So let's do it. First, there should be only 4 main points. I have to start this from 0. This time I want to make my dx smaller, so I'm gonna make it 0.025. Here the same plus these two together, so equals to cell C5 plus D5 equal to 0.025. This one remains the same. I'm gonna drag it down, drag this down too. Only have to make it until 1. And the function is the integral problem, which is 1 divided by x to the power of 6. X is this one, c5 to the power of 6 plus 1. Drag this down, and the area is the multiplication of these two equals to d5 times e5. Then drag it down, and the final answer is the sum of all of this, all of the areas. So starting from f5 until f45. The answer is 0.92. Let's check. 0.92, and the actual answer is 0.90. So the difference between these two methods is only 0.02. Let's move to the next example. Solve the integral of tan x over 1 plus 1 over x squared between 0.005 and 1. In this one, I use even smaller dx, which is 0.005, and the answer is for the problem is 0.13138, and the actual answer is 0.130399, and the difference is only 0.0014, which is very, very small. So what did you notice? The answer might not be exactly the same, but it's just a small difference from the actual answer. As I told you, you can always adjust the dx to get a more accurate answer. So if you want a very accurate answer, then you adjust your dx to be smaller or less. These are the references. And last but not least, as I mentioned above, integral is used in our actual world and in many different fields. So if you learn this Microsoft Excel method to solve integral, it is much easier for you to solve any integrals that you are using it for. And that's all for today. Thank you.